Alrighty guys, welcome back to some more F1 2016 career mode on the channel. Doing part 6 today, which is going to be from Monaco, the crown jewel of the F1 calendar as it currently stands. We're going to see what's lying ahead of us in store for this weekend.
Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
Excellent, so we do have an upgrade available to us this weekend. It's going to be an engine upgrade with an extra 8 brake horsepower. So of course that's not going to be massive for Monaco, but I'm hoping, engine upgrades, it might improve things like drivability and things for us. But we had the resource points available. Obviously looking forward to calendar as well. We need that upgrade in place. So Mana also upgrading their car, bringing a whole host of upgrades to Monaco, increasing their downforce importantly for them. Williams with a slight improvement, and we do have mixed conditions once again. As you can see on the vehicle performance comparison, we are the third fastest team. Williams dropping to 5th there, and Mana still the slowest team, but Mercedes still well clear of Ferrari, who are both well clear of us here. So again, like Spain, it might be a difficult weekend ahead, but of course Monaco tends to be a very strong track for us, but it'll be interesting to see how that's going to play out on this game. As of course we've got the new layout, the new chicane to look forward to, but we're going to head out into practice now to do the practice program, bring those resource development points into the bank if we can, and test out the new engine upgrade to see what that's all about here at Monaco.
Welcome to Monaco for this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix. It's a race that is truly steeped in history, but before the drivers turn their attention to winning, they first need to get through today's tricky practice session.
So, at the end of the track acclimatization section, just coming through that new section there, which is quite challenging, must be said. So it's nice to be able to just throw the car into the corner and hoping that it's going to stick as we're just completing the last few corners here. Just a few greens along the way, but of course the first lap around Monaco is always going to be difficult, but we've managed to get a purple lap on the first attempt, which is just what was needed. So we've got that one done and dusted. Doing the tyre wear test now. As you see, just coming up to the completion of the 7th lap, and again a full 105 points out of 105 gained there. So that's looking good. As Monaco typically, from history, tends to show that it's going to be a one-stop race if you can make the tyres last. So that's going to be crucial. Obviously the ultra softs coming into play, which you can see on the car now for the qualifying simulation. First time we're going to be testing those out this season. Be interesting to see how they cope with the stress of this sort of traction dependent circuit. Just coming towards the end of the qualifying run here, we go P1 in practice there, getting a purple lap time as you would expect. Of course other cars just on super softs and softs, the other tyres available here. So practice can't read too much into it. It's purely just for us to get the resource points into the bank and into the pool of disposable income, I guess, in terms of the points. Let's have a listen and see what's on the table for qualifying.
Hi, just letting you know that we've had the team's expectations through for the upcoming qualifying session.
So standard stuff as per usual, qualify 6th or higher, which we certainly hope to do around Monaco as we're going to be heading into qualifying now.
Circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula One qualifying.
So Q1 posed no problems at all. We managed to get through on the super softs there, just 7/10 away from Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel, and Fernando Alonso up there as well. So the Mercedes really struggling, but of course Q1 is just making sure you get through to the top 10, which we've managed to do. When I say top 10, I mean top 16. Q2 is where we get through to the top 10. A noticeable name missing, championship leader Nico Rosberg, not in the top 10. So it's disaster for him. He's outside the top 12 as well. You can actually see where he was, but we're now into Q3. We've got Massa ahead on our first attempt here, so we're just going to come through to back, and we've clipped the wall, we've smashed the barrier, and thankfully we've still got all 4 wheels on our car, which is extremely lucky considering we are on simulation damage. So what you're going to see is just where the barrier, sort of just where the joint is there, where it sticks out a bit, we've just caught the tyre face on that, and it has just launched the car into a violent spin. Thankfully for us, we didn't catch the rear corner on the barrier. It's just sort of face on with the crash structure. Lost a bit front wing, but nothing major there, so we are going to be able to recover, get back to the pit lane, and with 1 minute and 40 left, we are going to be able to do one run in this Q3 session. Hamilton currently on pole as we're going to be coming through this lap. We need to push, obviously try and get high up the grid, but we need to make sure we get through the lap itself and complete it, because otherwise we're going to be in P10, which is going to be a disaster for Monaco really, as we're just coming through this first section now, extremely close to the wall. A little bit of hesitation on the throttle as we come through the first section. We're just under a tenth and a half down on Hamilton through that first sector. Now coming into the tightest corner in Formula 1, up on the curb, getting it through nicely in first gear, then up into second for the Portier corners, I believe they are here. So into the tunnel, just managing to get on the traction there. So the ultra soft tyres providing some good grip for the stresses and strains of the power going through these rear tyres. Coming into the chicane, just a little flick of a correction on the steering there, as I thought we were just going to turn in a little bit too much, clip the wall on the inside. We managed to get through there to back, posing no problems at all as we keep it flat through the swimming pool section into the new chicane area, just about glancing the curbs either side. And I didn't actually see what the second split time was there, but I know we're on a decent lap at this moment in time. Thankfully the car ahead of us does not complete their lap and does not distract us as we open DRS, driving to the line, a 13.4 to beat. What can we deliver? It's a 13.179. That is provisional pole with just 20 seconds to go as we drive into the wall out of just sheer excitement because we just couldn't be bothered to drive anymore there. But thankfully, as qualifying ended, nobody was able to improve, and we've managed to get pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Let's remind ourselves of our top three, who are a Force India, Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, it's goodbye.
So an absolutely mega qualifying up for us. It's our first pole position of the season, and what better place to get it than at Monaco. And crucially, as I say just before, I glanced across at Nico Rosberg not in the top 12 there, so I don't know what happened to him in Q2. He's got a lot of work to do to get into the points and to maintain that championship lead if he can. In the rivalry update, things not looking too good for us, even though we've actually smashed Hamilton for most of the weekend so far. Just the sector times letting us down there, and Hamilton just 3 points away, whereas we are 9 points away, and that's going to be extremely difficult to prevent him from getting 3 points over the course of the race. But we'll do what we can to try and make sure we don't lose that battle if it's going to be possible, but it's a very steep uphill climb from here.
Hey, how are you? I have some information on the race goals you should keep in mind.
So the team wanting to finish the race in fourth place are high, but there's absolutely no doubt in my mind we are going for another win this season if we can, as we're going to head out to the Monaco Grand Prix in just a few seconds, because my editing skills are not that great and for some reason I haven't gone to the race here. So in a bit we'll be going to the Monaco Grand Prix. For now, we've got 359 resource points. Looking ahead to Canada and Azerbaijan and the power tracks coming up, we're going to put it into the fuel efficiency upgrade just to make sure we've got one of everything on the board, trying to help with obviously running rich mixture for longer periods of time during the races and things. So hopefully that'll be into place for next time out, but obviously for now we are going to be going to the Monaco Grand Prix, just with the introduction coming in, and then we'll let Crofty take over to tell us some, I'm sure, interesting facts about the Monaco circuit. But for now, let's have a listen, see what he has to say.
Motor racing has come a long way since the first Grand Prix of the early 20th century. We have faster cars, bigger circuits, highly trained drivers who've dedicated their lives to racing. But still, we return here. Still, it remains the most desired victory in Formula One. Still, we race the Monaco Grand Prix.
To be fair, I'll let Crofty off. That was a pretty good introduction to Monaco, because it is, it's not everyone's favourite race. For me, I absolutely love watching it on TV. I say the qualifying, the Saturday action is normally probably some of the best in the season, really, just watching the guys throw the cars around inches from the barrier, sometimes millimetres from the barrier. It's just absolutely glorious. One thing I do want to point out, race strategy, so we're just lowering the fuel, but obviously the weather there, you can see at the top, it's shown as a touch of rain in the air towards maybe the end of the race, which is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So we're also taking a lot of fuel out of the car, as from games gone by and historic races. It shows that normally you can do a good job of saving fuel here at Monaco. So we're going to take some fuel out, try and help with the tyre. We're obviously looking to the one stop is going to be the optimal strategy as far as I can see here. So you do not track, so you want track position. And you don't want to have to be fighting through the pack like someone like Nico Rosberg is going to have to do here, as the AI is taking the worst grid position I've ever seen in my life at the moment. Vettel's not much better than us, but we are not straight in our grid slot, which is not great. I don't know why the AI's done this. So as you can see here, you can see where the white box is, and we are pointing pretty sharply to the left here. So we're going to have to, hopefully that'll sort itself out as all the cars line up in the grid, and we'll have a straight run into turn one if we can. Otherwise that's going to cause a bit of a nightmare. But everyone is now into place. The 5 light sequence has started. The revs are building. 5 lights are now on. Lights out and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix, and it's been an absolutely lightning start from us here. We've got a great start. Jenson Button also getting a tremendous start as we go through turn one. It's a British 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Ourselves, Hamilton and Button, the running order as things stand at the moment. But it looks like it's just Hamilton that's right on our coattails to begin with in this early part of the race, as we're obviously going to have to get used to the heavy fuel running in the early part of this race. So Hamilton looking extremely feisty at the moment, obviously not too pleased with his qualifying performance, I'm sure, and he'll be looking to try and make a move on us if possible, as we're just going through these first few corners here. But no issues for us. We've maintained the lead, which is going to be absolutely crucial for the race going forward to see how these tyres are going to pan out over the course of the next few laps.
You might want to consider switching to a lower fuel mix. We may not finish on the current settings.
So we've just been told here that we're actually struggling with the fuel. As we're just glancing through it here, you can see we're minus 0.44, and that's only just from running standard so far through the opening 3 laps. So unlike other games, we've misjudged this pretty badly in terms of taking lots of fuel out of the car in the thought that, you know, we would be able to save fuel, because obviously it's not a power track, you're not on the throttle too often, so I didn't think saving fuel would be a massive issue. However, we're cutting later in the race. Verline has retired from the race here, just coming through the final sector. It's another mechanical failure, another engine blowout for the AI this season, as we're just coming up to that point of the circuit. He's here running in lean, obviously doing what we can to try and save fuel at this stage. There is Verline parked in the runoff area, so that's not going to cause any issues that I can see in terms of a virtual safety car or actual safety car here, and we do indeed get the green flag notice there, as we're now on lap 9 coming into the tunnel section. So we've done, over the next sort of 5 or 6 laps that we were warned of, we managed to get the fuel up to plus, over plus a whole lap, really, 1.05 I think it was saying there. So we can run standard for this part of the race without anything to worry about. And nothing really going on in this first stint, it must be said. But on lap 15, or the end of lap 15, Lewis Hamilton comes into the pit lane. And to be honest, I was just so engrossed in, just keeping out the barrier and getting a rhythm, I didn't actually notice it was time to pit, to be completely honest with you. So I've actually gone for an extra lap here, and you can see from our sector times, we're not doing too great at this moment in time. It's going to be interesting to see how we've compared to Hamilton's outlap and what he's been able to do. You can see the rear end of the car sliding about all over the place. We managed to make it through just to the pit entry, where we don't really get a warning about the speed limit or anything like that. So thankfully we've managed to slow down just enough to make sure we don't get a penalty as we're coming into the pits for a set of super softs. And by super softs, I definitely mean super softs. There we go. So 2.6 seconds, not a bad pit stop there. A few cars now coming through the final part of the track. We've got a car coming down the pit lane, which looks to be Verstappen, who's going to take the provisional race lead at this moment in time. But no signs of Hamilton coming out at all, or coming down the pit straight. It must be said Rosberg is actually the next car up. As we take a look behind, there is Rosberg, and no sign of Hamilton. So where is Lewis Hamilton after, obviously, he pitted a lap early, or a lap earlier than us. And you can see this is him here. That's actually Rosberg ahead. And that little speck up the top of the hill there coming out the pit lane is us. So we've managed to maintain track position. We've got better tyres, or a lap better tyres on than Hamilton, which is going to be crucial, obviously, to make sure that he's not going to have a tyre advantage over us to maybe gain traction to overtake coming out of one of the traction zones maybe. But Verstappen ahead, I don't know whether he's pitted yet. No, he's on super softs, but I would imagine he's got at least one more stop to make, as we've now got DRS looking around the outside of him coming into turn 1. It's going to get awfully close, as we have to just about back out as we get ever so close to the wall, actually hanging it around the outside of Verstappen there, who was a bit slow going for the apex. I think he pinched himself into the apex too much, and with a bit of a worry of probably squeezing us into the barrier, he's just left us a bit too much room, and we've managed to swoop round the outside, taking net first place of this race. And from here, we've just got to keep it out of the barriers and keep it on the track, and pray that we do not get a message like that. But we do, and we get a message say that rain arriving in 10 minutes as we look for another weather report. 5 minutes now, so the rain is coming in. You can see the skies are getting overcast, and as we're coming into lap 29 now, we are on lap 29, lap 30, engineer expecting a few drops within the next few minutes, so that's going to be pretty much now, I'd imagine, as we're on lap 31 of 39. And as you can see, the rain is now beginning to fall. There's raindrops on the car, on the cockpit of the car, and now we're going to have to see just how slippery this track gets. And you see just a lap later, the rain falling a hell of a lot harder. And the AI, sorry, not the AI, the engineer actually saying now is time to look at a strategy change, and he wants the intermediate tyres fitted. I do also want the intermediate tyres fitted as well. As you can see just how much we're struggling on the traction. The tyre temperature has dropped, it's probably about 6 or 7 degrees lower than what it should be. But you can see just under braking, just no performance from the car, and then on the traction as well. there's just absolutely nothing coming from these tyres. They've dropped out of the operating window for temperature. They're just too cold, and it's only going to get worse if we do not rectify the situation. So we just need to try and make it through the rest of this lap. You can see how slow our lap time is compared to the previous fastest. So DRS also disabled. That's normally the killer instinct and the killer point of when you need to change tyres, going from slicks to inters or inters to slicks, whether it's disabled or enabled. But we've made it back to the pits just about there, no issues. We're still in the lead, as you see a lot of cars coming into the pit lane as well. So we're going to be stopping on our marks, getting those green striped intermediate tyres on. 2.5 seconds, that'll do nicely, as we do maintain the lead ahead of Lewis Hamilton and the rest of the cars coming into the pit lane as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this is going to unfold over the next 7 laps or so, as we come out of the pit lane here and almost bin it straight into the wall. How embarrassing would that be? But thankfully we managed to get through, just glancing the wall there with the tyres, but nothing untoward with damage, as we're now going to have. You can see just how worse the conditions are getting at this point of the race. The engineer's saying we're still on the right tyres, but it does look to be getting heavier, so it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to have to go to full wets at any point or not, as we're now looking to try and get past the last place driver, Felipe Nasr, in the Sauber, who is just not giving a flying fuck about blue flags or the blue LED lights flashing at him to get out the damn way, which we're not too pleased about at this stage of the race. Obviously Hamilton just over a second behind, so any mistake or anything from us, or any instance of runnings in with Nasr, is going to have a massive effect on us, as we're actually going to have to try and pull off what seems to be a legitimate overtake of Nasr, who's just not giving up. The hand comes out of the cockpit, as we are furious with him right now, as we're actually having to go around the outside of him to make a lap move, and thankfully for us he's actually got right in the way of Hamilton like a complete tosspot. So Nasr, cheers, you held us up, but you also done the same to Hamilton as well, as we do get a radio message there saying the rain is set to stop within the next 10 minutes. So thankfully the rain not going to be getting heavier, and as you can see, lap 38 of 39. You see from the mini-map and from the split time in the top left corner, we managed to pull a massive gap to Hamilton at this point. And what I'm going to do is I just wanted to leave you guys with the final lap, just to show you the conditions and how I was driving, and a little bit of showboating, of course, having a bit of fun with the weather. To say it is a lot of good fun to drive in these conditions, but hopefully, so we've still got a lap to go. So I'm really hoping that we are going to keep it out of the barrier and not completely ruin the race, and have to retire from F1 forever for trying to showboat on the last lap of Monaco Grand Prix and binning it in the wall. So I'm going to shut up now, let you guys listen to how the car's handling, what sort of inputs I'm doing, and I'll catch you with the commentary again just towards the end of the race, if we can get that far, of course. So just one more corner to go in this Monaco Grand Prix, and we round that without any problems, line up the rear tyres in celebration as we drive to the line to take victory at the Monaco Grand Prix. The crown jewel is ours for the F1 2016 season, and that is by far and away the most enjoyable win. The first win in F1 is always special, but winning at Monaco at your first attempt as well is pretty damn fine, and what an accomplishment that is for us here today.
Brilliant stuff from Force India today. What a superb victory. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack, and having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Force India have really come a long, long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn that top spot.
So after a difficult Spanish Grand Prix last time out, we are back on the top step of the podium. Champagne flying again for us here today as we take victory at the Monaco Grand Prix.
And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. We see a new name at the top of the championship table as we reach the end of the Grand Prix weekend. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
It's a tough one, Crofty, but on balance I think I'd go for Nico Rosberg.
Nah, so I'm gonna have to cut you off there, Davidson. Are you 16th to 12th warrants driver of the day in a Mercedes? Are you having me on? Well, either way, it does mean obviously Rosberg not scoring, so that 3-point lead he had is actually reduced now, or I say reduced, is actually being completely wiped out. It's now 22 points behind us as we retake the lead of the championship ahead of Lewis Hamilton. 12 points the difference there. So we are now leading the championship once again, and Force India as a team moving ahead of Ferrari by 5 points. So we are now second in the Constructors' Championship again. So it's going to be crucial to see what happens in the next few races coming up. Just in terms of resource points, you see just gaining a healthy bundle. They're 110 extra, 169 in the bank there, so nothing that we can use anytime in the near future. With the rivalry update, Lewis Hamilton does make it to 30 points. He gets 4 objectives over us. We actually make it to 28 in the end. But we have technically lost the rival update. But I mean, or we lost the rivalry of Hamilton there. But I mean, considering the championship standings, I'm quite happy with where we are. So I'm fine with losing that rivalry, apparently, if that's what it means when you're leading your rival in the championship compared to where you started. That's fine by me. Couldn't give a flying fuck. However, let's have a look. So obviously, career score no one cares about. Looks like Emma's got some news for us.
What could this be? Could it be a promotion to first driver? I think it might be. You read the details. You've earned it.
Well, there we go. What a way to celebrate a Monaco win as we sit in the paddock looking at that beautiful backdrop of the Monaco city there. I don't even know Monaco's a city. I probably made a complete fuck up there, but whatever. So, senior management noticed your recent performance and decided to promote you to the team's first driver. You receive an additional bonus after each race to reflect something or other. So I presume this means more resource points are going to be available to us when we complete qualifying and everything there. But that has been the Monaco Grand Prix. That has been another race victory, a very well-earned one indeed. We've lost the rivalry this time out. However, we've got the fuel efficiency upgrade coming towards the car, hopefully for the next time out, which is going to be Canada. So I hope to see you guys then. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Leave your comments, as you lovely people normally do, in the comment section below. I hope to interact with a few of you there, and I hope to see you guys tuning in for the next episode, which will hopefully be out very, very soon. But until then, it is bye.